What up? Welcome to the Tabloid Tea, where we put the tea in tabloid. I'm your host, Prez, and I would like to welcome my very special guest, Ademola Adeniji.
What's
How you
going
doing
on,
today,
man?
sir?
Doing all
Okay.
right, man. Morning on Friday.
Yes,
Early.
sir. We will be discussing his recent decision to resign as the head coach of Lanphier football team and track team. A little background. Me and Ademola, longtime friends, go back as far as Washington Middle School.
Shout out
So
Warriors.
yeah, so 25
Warrior
years in the
Nation.
game. So when I heard he's going to be the head coach of Lanphier football team, I was extremely ecstatic. All right, so um, as a Lanphier alumni, I shared a football field with him. I ran on the track with him. We won titles together, won medals together, even won championships together.
Yes, sir.
So I know personally this man's work ethic and his dedication to the sport and the team, the school itself. All right, shoot. To me, the man's a legend at Lanphier. Okay, um, one of the fastest dudes I ever seen. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Shoot, top three. Okay, I'm gonna say top three. That's major. I'm gonna say he one or two. He two or three. Okay, shoot. I'm like five. Okay, so when I heard that he was going to resign as head coach, and only a week before the season start, I knew it was some tea in the tabloid. So I had to holler at my boy and say, "Hey, come tell your side of the story." So let's go ahead and get on into it. Ademola Adeniji, we call him Mola. I don't like even saying Ademola. Um, so let's get on to this. What are some things the team has struggled with in the last few years?
Last few years, if you've been around the game or been around sports in the CSA, Lanford struggled tremendously with um, the product of football. Um, with the situation in the school, I think it's hard to get kids to commit to a sport that has the grind to work on the things necessary that they need to be successful. A lot of the kids don't even start playing until they're in high school. A lot of them, and even now in this generation, with cell phones and TV and media, they don't even watch football.
Wow, yeah, facts.
You can see the product out there. But even just that, they've struggled with the product being put out there, the toughness, the grit, the ability. And we unfortunately can't change the conference that we play in. It is a very tough conference. And so winning is tougher than what I think people really realize, especially in the game of football.
Yes,
it's tough. It takes a constant, consistent process. Working out, conditioning, drills, academics, weightlifting is tremendous. Flexibility, conditioning, watching the game.
Yes.
I mean, people don't understand the mental side of watching. When we grew up, all we did was have and watch the Bulls. So, with the side of football, I think also culture has struggled, and so that also plays a role into the kids either wanting to be a part of football versus basketball. And so when your culture is not there as well, we unfortunately here too in Springfield, we don't have a football team.
Facts, yes.
You have to drive to Champaign. Milliken is probably the closest thing. And so, where we're at, a lot of kids don't even leave the block or leave that area. So let alone go watch a college football game. For what?
Football is foreign to them. You know what I mean?
Very foreign.
Okay. So during the interviewing process, what expectations and standards did you discuss?
During the interview process, and yeah, that's the thing that was the interesting thing about this is everything that I said in my interview process was I basically stood on academic, Academics was one of the most important things that I think also hindered some of my situation as well, because there were a lot of kids that, um, they understand the system as far as graduating requirements,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't understand the IHSA and eligibility
Yeah.
process.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I believe you can't have 3 Fs
Mm-hmm.
and under a 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't believe how many there are.
Yeah, it seems like that's a pretty reachable standard, but
Mhm.
but it's a common thing for it not to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, my goal was to change that, because I understand the NCAA clearinghouse process.
Okay.
I understand how it's audited,
Yes.
and I
As a collegiate
understand,
athlete
yes,
yourself. Okay.
what
Mm-hmm.
classes count.
Mm-hmm.
And so, thankfully, now that they've set aside the SAT and now we're going into the ACT, they don't have that, but there is a GPA requirement. The also important thing about that is, and also through this process, my goal wasn't to ultimately send kids to play college football, because there's a lot of factors that
Yes.
play into that.
Mm-hmm.
But just on the academic side, not only graduating was one of my most important things, but you think and you're able to process things on the field when you consistently have a body of work academically.
Yes.
You concentrate, you can pay attention, you can understand. And so the faster you can think about the game out there, the faster you can play for me.
Okay.
And
All
that's
right.
what.
Yes, sir.
So,
You cooking right now? Okay.
number one was academics. Number two, just consistency. The kids nowadays, if they're not committed to something and they have so many other distractions, and once again, like I said, football is a different sport where it's hard. You've got to weight lift, you've got to train, you've got to do the academics, you've got to do the drills, you've got to go to
It's more than a skill thing. It's a physical thing. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You've got to go to combines.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process, and if you're not built for it and you don't understand why you're doing it or what it's going to lead to, it's like, well, why do I do this? And so just getting kids to understand that the result will come. You just have to consistently get yourself in a process. Coming to school, just it's a main thing of just in my situation was letting them understand that consistency is what I was going to bring. Discipline. There's a lot of pride that you have to have in discipline. A lot of kids now jump from school to school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't see them go freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year.
They're literally trying to go to all the schools.
Yeah, some of the kids that you get, you're like, they've gone to Springfield, they've gone to Southeast, and so they're like, why should I care about playing for Lanphier?
Yeah,
what I mean?
Ain't no pride there. Also,
yeah,
yeah.
It's not like when we showed up when we were in middle school, we were like, yeah,
but we going to Lanphier. Yeah.
Nothing's gonna change that. And so, just getting things like that back, changing the brand of football and the toughness and just the mentality about everything. And so my job was ultimately to prepare them for not only walking across the stage, but getting a job and being productive after this.
Sports also bring a whole different mindset in life. Yes. You know what I mean? So if you got discipline to listen to a coach, to follow directions, stuff like that, you can use that same mindset and skill set and other things also. Yes. You kind of answered this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So what do you bring to the table as a coach? You said you bring discipline, and definitely I know a tactical mindset. Shoot, if you're going to use any of the stuff that we used to do, I know that it was some good seasons coming. So what do you bring to the table as a coach?
I have a unique skill, and that's the thing, I'm not really good at talking about myself. I just know how to do it. But it's just a work about it. Being where I have been, and this was funny because the situation was centered around practice.
Yes.
The people that are on the outside of this and outside of my world don't understand that when you've gone to the level that I've gone, practice is almost like your game. Your game is really your performance.
Okay.
And so, you hear the rumblings, and it's like, what people don't understand is the reps, even, what Kobe Bryant, and I'm using the basketball analogy, and LeBron, when you're putting up in Steph 1,000 shots, days, repetition. It's the same thing with football.
Yes.
Tennis ball drills, workouts in the pool, workouts in the sand, conditioning, weightlifting, Pilates, yoga, track.
Yes, sir.
Like, everything is preparation. And then once the season comes, and that's what I was kind of instilling them and teaching them and understand, this is not when you show up.
Yes.
And try and get all of these things accomplished. Now it's time to perform. And really, you're just preparing. Everything that's done behind the scenes is work, and it's a lot.
When we was on like the tour days and stuff like that, like just staying over the summer type practices, we used to go hard. It was you trying to outdo the dude over. Like, these are the games. You're right. That is correct.
Because what we were up against and what I was faced with is a lot of boys don't have even the basic skills in high school. And I hate to compare them to the national scene, but they got to understand, Florida, Texas, places in the South, they have football in the spring.
Yes.
So this is how far behind you really are. And translate back up to here. Once again, if we're ever going to compete in the CSA, we got to be able to catch.
Exactly.
We got to be able to get in the stands.
Yeah.
We got to be able to hold our stands. We got to be able to move. We got to be able to cut. We got to be able to plant. Well, that stuff takes time. That takes work. You got to get your body comfortable.
And they were starting way before us. You know what I mean? So I know. I actually, when I was in college, I had a friend who played varsity in high school when he was in middle school. So I don't know how they did that, but they breed football over there. So in order to catch up, you're gonna need a good coach. You know what I mean? Yeah. So how has the atmosphere surrounding football changed since you played?
I would say the kids aren't as tough.
Okay, yeah. They're soft. As a coach myself, you know what I mean? Shoot, I teach a lot of kids fitness, boxing, kickboxing, stuff like that. These days, they're a little softer than we was back then. Okay.
The thing of it is depending on every, and I don't know a lot of all the situations vary, but there is constructive criticism, and they don't understand constructive criticism.
Okay. A lot of hurt feelings.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a thing of where it's more like they take it as it's a personal battle versus, hey, this is how I'm going to get you past where you are.
Yes, sir.
Because you have, like everyone, potential and the ability, but you need to be able to push yourself more and beyond. And so it's hard when you have access to technology and you can watch things, but you don't understand how the individuals that you're watching get that ability and able to get there.
Okay. What goals did you have for the team?
My goals for the team were just to have a better product, improve academically, be tough and compete and have fun. Coming from where I come from, and this is another thing which is just, it's always, a lot of stuff is just bizarre, but I like this platform in this forum to be able to say this. Losing the way you see how they lose is very uncomfortable. And unfortunately, for a large amount of people, I think it was like normal or like it should be that way. And for a guy like me, I'm like, this is bizarre.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
It's high school football.
Exactly.
This isn't, you know what I mean? It's high school football. And like I said, there's a lot of factors into that when it comes to like coaching and different things. But it's very uncomfortable. And so I wanted them to understand that life and you aren't defined by wins and losses. But because I lost in high school, you know, I didn't lose a lot, but I lost. But people knew when I stepped on the field what they were going to get.
Yes, sir. I said this man's a legend in my eyes, for sure. I know he got some records. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're
I'm
okay.
just, hey, I'm an Ademola fan. All right.
They knew what they were going to get, whether, you know, I didn't care who it was. But the ability to be comfortable to not win a one-on-one battle or to not go out and battle is a comfort thing, especially when you have people that come and pay their money. They work hard to pay their money, and they could be doing anything they want to do on a Friday night. But this was just like, the expectation was just normal with them. So the thing with them was I would always ask them, you know, who are they? And they would repeat confidence. So, you know, it was something that really, really needed to be changed and addressed. That was a process of singing the school fight song. It was a long process this summer with even just having young men be comfortable enough with singing a school fight song.
It ain't cool to sing or to have school spirit these days. I hear you. That's crazy. So what were the biggest hurdles after accepting the position?
Biggest hurdles: administration, academics, discipline, parent. What I think this is the biggest thing about this is what they need to understand is that if, and I say if, these kids want an opportunity, which is what I was there for, was to give these kids an opportunity. They have to understand that the only way they get to where they get is through the coach.
Facts, yes.
The school board is not going to get you recruited. The school board is not going to get you on a field. Your parents not going to get you there. The coach.
My daughter is just graduated from Lanphier herself. One of the best softball players here in town.
Yes.
And it was really tough trying to get, because she's been overseas to play, and it wasn't no money there for her to go. And this is one of your best players. This is somebody who can go play for the Olympics for you. She's she's in all the top records at the school. Broke a couple of them. Broke a couple records, and the only person I was working with was the coach. Okay, so I understand that for sure.
And so, you know, when you are faced with these roadblocks, when, you know, you're trying to undo everything that you're trying to do in a culture like this, you start to wonder, like, why do people want this to be this way? Because it's weird. I like winning.
Yes.
I don't like losing. And so I'm always going to do winning things. And like I've said, winning is hard. It takes a lot. And there's a lot of factors, and not only a consistency academically in the building every day, but then you have to come to practice every day. you have to be accountable and put in the work. And
not only come to practice, you must understand what's going on also. Okay, and do you got your work on the field, and you got your work you got to do off the field also if you want to be back.
And so holding kids accountable, was a huge hurdle. I think it was uncomfortable with this being the first, I'm going to say probably the first African-American football coach. And it's uncomfortable even for, I want to say, kids that, and they're in a building with a mixture, but they're uncomfortable with a Black coach as well.
Okay.
And so, I can identify and realize that because of their manner.
Yes.
And for me, for a guy that's married to a white woman,
yes, sir.
I have Black, I have white, I have Hispanic, and the thing of not being able to understand, it's like, it's the underlying elephant in the room where, you can tell, but it's like, whoa, why does color matter when you're losing? We all are trying to work toward a goal here, which is to win, graduate kids, put them in positions to get good jobs or go to college. I want them to come back and coach. I want them to come back and be teachers. We're short on teachers. We're short on support staff. So I'm in a position where I have to develop these kids, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. And if they're fortunate enough to have an opportunity to play at the next level, well, fantastic. But if not, well, they might be flying a B-2 bomber one day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So, the hurdles that you also run into that you never would even expect, or even sometimes you might have coaches that, the process that you're doing and the slow process that you're having, they don't even understand it, and it's tough for them. So you run into a lot of different barriers that you have to try and figure out and navigate.
Okay. How do sports and academic go hand in hand?
Sports and academic come back to consistency.
Yes, sir.
Consistency. And if you have a lot of pride with learning and accomplishing something, and I'm not saying our academic system is for every kid, but unfortunately, that's how the world is. And so if you just do the best that you can and you try every day, you do the same thing in sports for whatever reason why you're doing it. Whether it's to get in shape, whether it's to build your self-esteem, whether it's to deal with mental health, whether it's to get away from the streets, get away from the home, deal with whatever it might be. But it's a consistency every single day. Once again, the world that we come from, man, we would play sometimes 2 sports in the season. We were outside. It was fun. That was also how we talked and built relationships and communicated.
The weight room was a requirement amongst us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't hitting the weight room, bro? You ain't going to do double the 2 days?
Yeah.
You ain't about to run today? You ain't about to do the mile today. That's crazy. I get you.
And to think that in that building, to see where the other sports are and, to see where this sport is, it's like, where's the sense of urgency academically and sports-wise? Where is the sense of urgency, and why isn't the community and the district and everyone trying to put their arms around this and say, we need to do everything because this needs to improve. You're spending $100 million on a facility. For what?
Yeah, for what? To win, right? You know what I mean? Don't you want to win, right? Yeah.
For what?
Because they got all new everything.
For what?
Okay, yeah.
It's to improve this stuff, right?
Okay. Okay. What was the importance of volunteer work for the players?
They needed to understand, though their situations are their situations in their lives, it could still always be worse. And there's
Yes.
always someone that can be struggling more than you. It was important for them to also have some type of pride of doing something that will make them feel good, because a lot of them don't get hugs.
Yes.
A lot of them don't get told I love you, or I miss you, or I'm glad to see you today, or have you. And so, when you're having these conversations with individuals that are coming to you and need some support like this, it makes you feel good. And so that was a very important process for me to build within them, because even then, what people have to understand in my position is that if there's a player that wants to go play a college sport, I have to tell that coach, you will enjoy having this young man a part of your community for 4 years.
And it'd be the truth also.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's a reflection of me.
Yes.
And I can back that up by saying he volunteers and goes and helps and does this and this. Here are some of the photos. Here are some of the days and the things that he's done. They're going to look at giving my kid an opportunity over a kid from SHG potentially.
Yes.
Over Chatham. Over Rochester.
Who take a lot more pride in their program.
It may be a situation where they're trying to decide.
Yes.
And they may, hey, here's a scholarship that we see in you because you did this extra. Or whatever program that it might be. So for them to also understand that this is a part of this family and growth process of changing a culture, your community is going to come support you if you support it. You know what I mean?
Oh, facts, man. What is the importance of positive male role models for high schoolers? Because a lot of them they're not getting that at home. So how important do you think it is to actually have a man in a position as a role model?
Because a man can look another man or look another young man in the eye and say, you are wrong. You have to be better. You have to do this differently. Because, and I'm not saying that a woman doesn't have the ability to do that.
It's very different though.
But it's a very different relationship.
Yes.
And they're going to listen differently. Me being raised by a single mother, trust me, I know.
Yes, sir. Ditto.
My dad, if he told me something, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like if my dad said, it's just a different.
My dad
weight.
Still scared me.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just a different weight to it.
Hey, boy.
Even in the summers when I would visit him versus being with my mom the majority of the time, even just that little bit of time.
Very different.
When my dad said, "Get up, it's time to go to work." I wasn't rolling around sleeping for an extra 15 minutes. It was get up.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Might get snatched up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what do you think could be better within the educational system?
The expectation.
Okay.
Accountability. Stop lowering.
Yes. Yeah. Shoot, lowering the expectations.
Stop.
The hurdles getting lower. You know what I mean? Shoot. Yes.
Parents are always going to complain. It's tough being a parent.
Yes. You always want the best for your child.
Absolutely. Okay. And I know as a dad now, I'm learning and knowing. But at the same time, though, this is how they're going to make it when we're not here.
Yes. You got to teach them how to be without us. Okay.
They have to struggle. They have to learn work ethic. They have to learn discipline. because the world will eat you up if you don't.
Yes, definitely as a young man, you know what I mean? Yes, there's a different expectation out there for a young man, and sports definitely help that. Good male role models definitely help that.
And once again, I'll say it, and I'm not saying that the current system is the system that every kid is good for every kid, but this is the system that is the process for playing sports.
Yes, sir.
And getting to college and the pros. But we have to raise the expectation and train them to come up to it.
Yes, sir.
Have to.
So, how do you think this situation will impact the kids, your players?
I think for them, ultimately, they will learn and gain how to stand for something and be able to stand on your own.
Yes, sir.
A lot of these kids are so self-esteem wise and lack confidence wise that they'll just put their head down if they see something isn't right or they know something isn't right, or just say it doesn't have to do with me, or that I don't care, but I think for them, they need to be able to say, if I don't want to be a part of something that's not positive or good, I don't have to, versus following the crowd or following what is comfortable or positive, or not positive, but following what is popular. In my position and my expectation, what I said in my interview, I'm a guy that was going to challenge people and make people uncomfortable.
Yes, sir.
I was going to have hard conversations. I was going to make tough decisions. I was going to do everything different. And people weren't ready for that. And I understand that. But once again, if you have ever been in the world that I was in, you would never understand that.
Yes, sir. Okay. So, little more. I know you got to get up out of here. I appreciate you really coming here to talk to me today. What is the importance of structure and accountability for both the kids as well as the district and administration?
Because I think ultimately, if you're wanting to accomplish what it is we want to accomplish, which is academic success, preparing kids for the world, athletic success, or to even get what we think kids should be getting from sports, which is building up something.
Yes.
Learning about yourself. Sometimes we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, we don't know everything, or we made a bad choice, or I could have done this better, or I don't know this answer, but let me go and find out the right answer. How can I get better? I think with where they are, a lot of my boys too, they're very comfortable with just the individuals that are in the building with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is fantastic, but do you understand that there's a higher level everywhere? And then the level gets even higher when you leave the city, when you leave the state, all over the country. There are kids that are hungry and want something. And you guys have to understand that that is a process that you have to understand. Do I know and feel like they need to be exposed to it more? Possibly. But I think it starts with just setting and having a goal. A lot of these kids, I don't think, know what they want. So if you don't even know
what type of goal do you want? Yeah, exactly.
What are you even working for? Why do I need to get good grades?
Exactly.
I don't need to risk the grades. I'm okay right here.
I was trying to get out of school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sure.
I'm okay right here. Well, if you want to play in college, stay in college because the work gets harder, the tests get harder, and then there's no one there to hold your hand.
Exactly.
Your mom or dad can't go to a school board or anyone and complain and say, my kid this, my kid that.
You're an adult now. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're in the adult world.
Okay. The college system, you can't touch the coach.
Yeah. Okay. If you knew then what you know now about the administration, would you have accepted the position?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
I took this position and went through this process because I was just a guy that said I saw a need and could do something about it. That's how I've always been. That's how I'll always be.
That's what men do. I could do that. You know what I mean? Sure. I got that. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? This wasn't about anything else but helping these kids learn this game and use it. Bring a little more fun and pride to Friday night. Have them, because there's no reason why our kids, there's not colleges coming in the building after them. Yes. They have the ability.
Yes.
It just takes someone to bring it out of them. But if you have people that don't see that and don't care or want to see that, then they'll keep driving up to Chicago, to Bloomington, to St. Louis.
Passing Springfield right up.
Yeah.
To get my daughter seen, we had to do roll ball, you know what I mean? Travel teams. Of course, go overseas, go sign up for this, sign up for that, you know, and it shouldn't be that difficult, you know what I mean, if the school really want to help students out like they should. Yeah. If knowing what you were walking into, what would you have done differently?
Would have chosen my coaching process selection differently. And that's from track all the way through.
Yes.
What people don't know and understand is that in District 186, if the coach is put on as a paid coach, it's very difficult to get rid of them.
Yeah.
There is a process for removing kids. Documentation is very, very important. You don't get to coach, and I think that's the toughest thing about it too. You deal with everything else except coach.
Okay.
And you have to try and figure out times and ways to get that opportunity. And are you thankful to be able to give something at least to your assistants that can give it to the kids absolutely. Another change would be, really looking at what is the administration like. And, you hate, I'm a guy that's just obviously never going to be the case for me, but you hate to say it, but why is there, you have to look at it, but is there the black and white issue? I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah.
And why? Because I know you're always gonna deal with it. It's America, but it's like, why in a system like what we have? And how do you figure out how to navigate that for everybody?
And when you're losing, why does it matter?
And why does it matter?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So did you feel forced to resign? No.
They actually didn't talk to me, and I didn't talk to them. This was a build up.
Okay.
Because I had been dealing with things in track, parents, kids, coaches, administration, money,
which is important. Yes.
Booster.
Yes.
I had been dealing with a lot, but I'm not a guy that puts all of that out there, and I was comfortable with not putting all of that
course.
out there
Mm-hmm.
because I was going to take care of
it. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And so they couldn't resist what was uncomfortable and what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And that's why I was able to make the decision, and I'm able to have, I feel like, this platform for coaches that have either gone through this or individuals that have been uncomfortable with talking about it, kids and parents that haven't been able to have a voice. I'm able to say that because ultimately, only thing I did was love a game, love a kids, love a school, love a community, and do the best that I could to put that love into them for what I could give. And it wasn't good enough for people that I feel like have other ulterior motives, which is fine.
Yeah. Okay, too. I like to rant, but you know what I mean? But so what are your plans going forward?
Plans going forward, man. And my wife, she's been yelling at me for a really long time, man. Okay. I've got to get certified. So I've got to get my PE certification. Hang out with my family, travel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Travel, because you're busy with this, and what people don't understand is that it takes a lot of time when you're trying to turn around a program and a culture. And so I want to go to London myself, man. I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Italy.
As a coach myself, you're dealing with a lot of different personalities, different people. A lot of people don't know that everybody coming to you. You know what I mean? Sometimes, so I get it.
You're never going to make everybody happy.
Of course.
But you're trying to do what's best and put the best interest for what it is for your program as you can. And, are people going to understand? No, but at the end of the day, we all are adults, and we can have conversations and we can have spirited, uncomfortable conversations. But as long as we're all trying to do the same thing, that's come to
a resolution.
Yeah. But in this situation, I think it was a little bit more uncomfortable for them to say, let's come back and communicate and get on the same page versus
a lot of ego going around.
I think ultimately I will coach again, but I have a lot of things that I enjoy doing, that I'm interested in, and I like to continue to keep growing because I want to continue to keep learning. I'm not even the perfect coach, so I want to continue to keep learning about the game and learning about football and getting better, because when the opportunity comes back around for whatever sport, I want to be there and be ready as I was.
Of course.
And but by then too, I'll probably be coaching the kids and seeing them if they choose to do sports. It's up to them.
The future's bright.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir. So that was a Tabloid Tea. Thanks, Ademola. Appreciate you for coming, giving us your not your side of the story. I just want to know a little bit about you, about this situation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and even though Ademola resigns, still go support Lanphier, LHS all day. And y'all have a great day. Appreciate you all.